Don't forget to announce banner, folks. I'm going to collect today.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fumble Live. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We are talking about some comments that Stephen A. Smith made about women in combat sports. But before we do all that, subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and share it with your friends. Here are the lovely ladies of the Fumble, and I just realized we are a good color palette today. I've got the pink, Jackie's wearing like black, I think it is. Britt, you're in red. We're looking good. Very Valentine's Day festive. Anyway, you guys, I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on all social media at JRay the Fanatic.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Britt. You guys can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson. I have a couple announcements. First, I want to wish the other two ladies on this panel a happy Women and Girls in Sports Day. I thank you guys both. Devin, you are an amazing moderator for this show. Jackie, we disagree on a lot of things, but I appreciate your insight. I appreciate the debates. It's all amazing. I learned so much from both of you. It is so awesome to do a show like this that is, now that Chris is gone, a full female panel. The Fumble was kind of created as a female-led sports show. We have gained over 1.5 million followers. We are the only ones to do something like this, and I think it is so huge and so important in sports for females to, have a voice and have this image that we have created on this channel. So thank you, ladies, for being a part of that with me. We're kind of making, YouTube history with that. Second thing I want to say is it is the day that we are pulling probably the most screenshots we will for the week for Fan or Foe. We do Fan or Foe Fridays. Make sure you guys head to the comment section, because it is Women and Girls in Sports Day. Tell us how much you love us or how much you don't like women in sports, whatever you want to do. Tell us today. We will debate you guys or talk to you guys or thank you guys about it on Friday when we do Fan or Foe Fridays. But make sure you are in the comments today because we are going to be screenshotting pretty much everything to talk about on Friday.
Yay! Okay, so many amazing announcements. Obviously, I'm very excited for Fan or Foe on Friday. That's been really fun the past 2 weeks that I've been able to do it with you guys, and then I know you guys did it once without me, but it's been a really great experience. We love talking with you guys, so yeah, send in those compelling, exciting, insightful, or super trolly chats, I guess whatever you want to do, whatever you want to be known for. If it's good enough, it'll get put in. And also, since it is Women and Girls in Sports Day, I wanted to talk to you too about, just what it's like being a woman working in the sports world. So, Britt, what is your favorite thing about working in sports?
I think for a while it was something that I tried to actually run away from, and that is just being a decent looking woman and realizing that I can use that to my advantage to get interviews. Guys always want to talk to the cute girl over the, little guy reporter over there doing his thing. So once I started being empowered and using that to my advantage, today on my social media, I actually posted about Jane Kennedy, who was the very first Black woman in 1978 to be a sports broadcaster on a nationally televised show. And so I kind of looked up to her because she didn't play sports in her past. She was actually like, this kind of pageant girl, and she was, beautiful. And there weren't any Black women before her, but the white women that they did have, most of them were, in sports themselves and did all this kind of stuff. So she was the first one that kind of used her beauty to like get interviews or to, engage in conversations and know what she's talking about and be smart. And you can be smart and pretty and, successful in this all at the same time. And so I think that is probably the biggest thing I've learned and gained and love from being able to do this is, kind of not letting her break that glass ceiling so I can have the opportunity to do this on this platform.
Yeah, it really is truly incredible. And Jackie, what is something that you love about working in the sports world? Has there been a career highlight for you that you'd like to just draw attention to?
I mean, for me, this is where I get to be my authentic self. I think more so here at the Fumble too, because aside from loving sports, I'm very pro-Black, and I get to be both on this show, this is the first time in my career that I've been able to do that. So I think that's a highlight for me. But I'm a tomboy at heart, and sometimes, that's not been truly embraced. But in the sports world, that's kind of a thing because you just kind of know you fit in that way. And I love being able to be my authentic self. I've met some amazing people. It's just a great thing to be able to talk to. This is probably a highlight too, like Britt said, to be on a show. I've always, my entire career, I've been surrounded by men, and that comes with its own set of problems. But this is like just genuinely unique. I know a lot of people think that women are catty and things of that nature, but we're just three girls on here doing our thing, talking sports, and it's every day it's a joy. So I think this is probably a very unique and a highlighted experience for me in my career thus far.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I mean, obviously sports, as much as it has changed over the years, it's still kind of a boys' club in a lot of ways. And I think it's really awesome that we're able to be up here and talking about sports. And sure, we get the troll comment every once in a while saying like, woman talking sports, get back in the kitchen. And it's like, you got to be embarrassed that you have that mindset from like the 1950s. We are so far from that.
Still watching. The whole point is you guys are still watching. You guys have known from the beginning of the Fumble, we are a female-led brand. It says it in our picture is the three of us, so you knew what you were tuning into, and you still clicked on it. So if you want to look at us and mute us, that's your business. Do what you do. If you want to listen to us as well, you might learn something.
Yeah.
Right.
We have really great takes. We have great perspectives on things. Britt, you're psychic. Jackie, you're so real. You're always willing to just say it like it is. I love it. And you know what I think is really fun about working in sports, for me personally, is you guys know I've done a lot of different hosting and reporting throughout my career, from celebrity news to game shows, covering even tech and finance. And sports is, I think, it's just fun because you get to be the most opinionated. I feel like we have this great platform where we're able to just banter with one another, say like the craziest stuff, and it's not, I don't know, I don't feel like it gets that same visceral reaction, like angry reaction from people. Sometimes it does, but in general, I think there's this opportunity for us to be opinionated and debate, and that's really cool. I feel like that's so fun about working in sports. So that's my take on it. Happy Women and Girls in Sports Day. And actually, this is the perfect segue into my story for you guys, because Stephen A. Smith said something that doesn't really seem to kind of go along with the theme of today that we've already set. So over the weekend, he was a guest on the Black on the Air podcast, and the topic at hand was about women who are now taking leadership roles that were once limited to men. So they talked about Becky Hammon and how she was the first woman to coach an NBA team when Greg Popovich was ejected during the Spurs December game against the Lakers. And when asked if he expects to see more women moving into leadership roles, Stephen A. somehow found a way to connect it to his dislike to women in combat sports in particular. So he said, quote, "First of all, I love it. I think there's an awful lot of women who are incredibly qualified to do the jobs they're doing. Where I jump off the bandwagon is where they try to engage physically. For example, I don't ever want to see a woman boxing a man. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see a woman in the UFC fighting a man, even though there are some women out there that will kick the dude's butt. I don't want to see women punching each other in the face. I don't want to see women fighting in the octagon and stuff like that. That's just me. What I adamantly would be against is them fighting men. I don't think that's cool. I'm not a proponent of that. Plus, you don't ever want to give men a license to believe that it's all right to be physical with a woman. To be quite honest with you, you don't want to do that. So I don't feel like we're going to be seeing women fighting men here in the States. Maybe in Russia that might happen. They've had some high-profile promotions where they do have men and women fighting each other, but I don't feel like we're going to see that here. And I have to say, I don't think it would be my favorite thing to see a man and a woman boxing, but I also don't think that if that does happen, that gives license to men that are not professional boxers or fighters to hit women like in their homes or whatever. So I don't know. I want to hear what you guys think of this. So Britt, what is your take on Stephen A's distaste for seeing female fighters.
I don't like the idea of him saying that he doesn't want to see women in the octagon, period. That's kind of was my issue with what he said, but I agree with the women fighting men thing, but I also think it goes so much deeper. I actually did a story for another company a couple years ago about because now younger and younger, we're seeing, transgenders at an earlier age. Before it was like, well, once they got older or whatever, now we're seeing kids that are, 14, 15 years old. And there was an issue with, number one, the eligibility in sports. Obviously, we had Title IX and different things that, granted women more scholarships in sports to try to equal it out with the men. And because before all the money was going towards men's sports, it's still very disproportionately given to men in male sports. Granted, most of the time they do make more money, so I don't have a problem with that. But they were talking about high school track runners, and there were transgendered male to female track runners that were literally blowing out the female track runners in high school. And they were getting opportunities to now, because this is still very new, getting these scholarships into, running track at UCLA or wherever the case is. And the born females were not getting these opportunities because the male to females they're technically just naturally a little faster, and so I think when you're kind of looking at that, which is something that is happening right now, it's something that is still, we don't understand. We're trying to figure out, or how is it fair? Do we have, there's been debates about like, do transgenders just run together by themselves? Is it their own division? Do we combine it with, like, if it's a female, or you're a female now, so now you run with the women, but then the women that are born females, are they missing out on, the opportunity to earn scholarships and stuff like that? And obviously this is something that is going to at some point happen in, the UFC. I'm sure it's already happened on smaller levels with high school. We've seen high school wrestlers and stuff like that. And we've actually seen females and males wrestle in high school. We've seen that because there are not a lot of female wrestlers. So you got to wrestle the boys. But once you get to especially the professional level and stuff, those guys just naturally have a muscle composition that is not something a woman can attain in certain levels. Women actually do have stronger inner legs, leg muscles than men can. And if a woman gets a guy in a headlock, that guy ain't getting out of the headlock. It's not that easy. But men are stronger in upper body just naturally. So it is like a question that I kind of debate with myself with very often, because I think that's really kind of where the conversation is going to be led. I don't think you're going to see, a Ronda Rousey fighting a Khabib or something ever, but not that I'm literally talking about two people that are kind of retired now, but I think it's more the thing in the middle of like, okay, this is going to happen. How is it going to happen? How are people going to feel about it? And that aspect of it, because the way the younger generation now is, gender is a blurred line. People don't even believe that gender exists a lot. So it is, I'm personally very confused, and I don't understand the matter enough to like address that part of what he had to say. But I know it's coming, and I know it's going to be very difficult probably for a lot of us to watch, especially the older generations, to watch stuff like that.
Yeah, well, there is no clear-cut answer, that's for sure. But I do think it's interesting that, Stephen A. does have such a strong opinion when it comes to seeing women in the octagon. I mean, there are women who have trained their whole lives to be able to fight and to hold their own, and who are, competitive fighters. And I think it's a little ignorant of him to say that he just doesn't want to see even two women fighting with one another. Jackie, what's your take on all of this? Do you feel like what he said is sexist? Do you understand where he's coming from?
I mean, I'm not easily offended, so I wasn't offended by what he said. I actually know a lot of men who love UFC that I sit and watch UFC with a lot, and they they'll watch women fight, but they're just uncomfortable. I think there's something in certain men, not all men, but there's something in certain men that just don't want to see women bludgeoned to death, because these women, some of these women are coming out of there, their faces are disformed. I don't know if you guys saw the last two fights, but I can't even think of her name right now. She literally had one of those cartoon knots on her head. It was, like literally swelling up before your eyes. And there's just some guys that do kind of see women as the softer vessel, and they just don't want to see that kind of violence towards a woman from anybody, even if it's from another woman. So I think Stephen A kind of falls into that category. So this comment didn't bother me at all. It took a long time for me. I've been watching UFC a long time. It took a long time for me to actually like watching the women fight, but I think it's a different reason. It took a long time for those fights to get good. But now that those fights are good, now I love seeing those women go in there and do that. So it doesn't bother me that he has kind of this old school thinking. He strikes me as an old school guy. I think there's some values that come with old school thinking, but so it doesn't bother me that he feels this way. I'm 100% on his side with the whole, I'd never want to see a man fight a woman. And I'm with Britt. I don't want to see a transgender woman fight a biological woman. I don't want to see that. There's going to be definite advantages with that. I know you guys say there's no clear-cut answer. I disagree with that. We have lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight. We can have men's category, women's category, and the transgender category. It seems like an easy fix to me. So this didn't bother me from Stephen A. Kind of seemed par for the course for him because he definitely seems old-fashioned to me. And so it didn't bother me. It's just Stephen A. There's a lot of stuff about Stephen A. that does bother me. This was not one of them.
Yeah, Stephen A. always is saying something, always has to be loud about something. I feel like I sit kind of right in the middle between you two. I think coming out and saying, I don't want to see women doing this is a very strong approach to take in general, especially when women have worked so hard to be able to do the things that men can do. So the man versus woman fight, I understand that. That seems a little bit uncomfortable. I said that at the beginning, so I don't know.
I don't know if Stephen A. has kids. I have never, I don't be knowing people's personal lives, but I could just imagine a guy like Stephen A. who does have those old-fashioned views and his daughter coming to him and saying, hey, Dad, I want to go fight, and knowing what that means, and then maybe going to her fight and seeing her, especially if she loses and gets knocked out and there's blood all over her face, there's probably some sort of visceral reaction to seeing somebody beat the hell out of your kid. So, there's probably a lot of things going on with him in that mindset. So that's for him. But everybody has an opinion. This one just didn't bother me.
Yeah. All right. Well, Britt, if you have anything to add, do you have anything that you want to say? I can't tell if you seem like you have something on your mind.
No, I guess just to make it clear, I don't know where I stand on. I know where I stand on the women and men fighting each other, and I get and I don't agree with the fact that he said he doesn't even like women fighting. But I don't know where I stand on the transgender thing. Because what if there's no other trans people that are there to fight? Do you just not get to ever fight? So I don't know. I don't know where I stand on that. So I wanted to be clear. I know I rant and I talk a lot, but I don't have an opinion yet on that. I don't know where I exactly stand. I know it's not fair, but I get it's not fair on both sides. So, and I don't know how to alleviate that. So I just wanted to, I guess, because I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I got my point across, but I wanted to make sure my point was I don't know.
Well, if it's any consolation, I think I did take that away from what you said, that you still feel kind of up in the air. So I feel like you are clear about that. And you know what? I think I'm with you. You want equality, but you also don't want to have a super uneven fight. So I understand that completely. But you guys, let's wrap up Need to Know News. Jackie, can you take us into the post-up?
Yes, man, I wasn't ready. We ready already, though. Okay, let's get it. It's time for the post-up, y'all. I wasn't even paying attention. I thought we had a whole nother topic, but no, here we are. So let's get to it. This one is kind of fun because when you break somebody's record, sometimes they be mad, sometimes they encourage you, sometimes they fall right in between. But before the season began, Toronto Raptors, Fred VanVleet, we love him so much. I mean, or maybe it's just me. He set a record by signing a contract. The biggest contract for an undrafted free agent in NBA history was 4 years, $85 million. And then on Tuesday, he added 2 more records to his name. He scored 54 points in Toronto's 123-108 victory over Orlando. That was the most by an undrafted NBA player in history. It surpassed Moses Malone record of 53, and he beat DeMar DeRozan's single game franchise record of 52 points. So congratulations to Fred. Love to see that man succeed. And DeMar, all the way from San Antonio, decided to be a good about it, and he posted this on Twitter. He said, "Congrats, my brother Freddie V. Kyle old ass couldn't do it. Glad you did, champ. Been telling you." Okay, why you got to come from Kyle like that? I've already expressed that Kyle's kind of my dude. And Kyle is 34. You're 31, sir. Why are you coming? He's not old. What the hell? Don't clown my boy like that. I took umbrage to that one. But aside from that, I love seeing DeMar DeRozan step up, and shout out Fred on this one. That was cool. But I want to move on to our new favorite topic. Sideline Karen, or Karen, whatever her name is, and her man, because his Courtside Karen. I've been calling her me for so long, but her old man, old steroid ass, as LeBron likes to call him. He's been living rent free in LeBron in his head for a while. First of all, I have problems with this picture. The way he's standing and looking at LeBron is creepy to me. That's first and foremost. And then the young lady standing next to him, I'm like, is that who? How old is that child? Is that the girl modified that we?
I don't think that's the girl.
Would we know though? That girl had a whole bunch of. He from the ground up. That's what I'm saying. I think that's the base model, and I think now he got the upgraded model. I don't know, but anyway, so we got another picture of him looking at, first of all, his name. I don't know if y'all can see his name. His name is Daddy Carlos. Never, I gotta say that again, ever. But here he is looking at LeBron James. I can't tell if he's looking at LeBron like LeBron's a snack or if it's hate. He says it's hate. And this one, he's happy that the Hawks win. But I had so many questions looking at these pictures, and I was so glad that this person had the same questions. He says, rent free, little stick figure got that Kylie before look. See, that's what I said. I think that's the before model. He must have been groomed. You looking into it? Yes. He says, he must have been grooming that chick since she was 15. Next is that super villain disguise. And why is he standing like that? Does he think he's about to do something? I have so many questions. I agree. So many questions. Detective Devin, you must find out if that's the base model of Courtside Karen.
I don't think it is, because these pictures are from 2017, and I just scrolled back onto this girl's Instagram in 2017, and she was fully blonde. If anything, she had an ombre style haircut, or like hair color where it was blonde at the bottom. I mean, yeah, dark at the top and blonde at the bottom. So this girl was dark all the way through with that hair. So I mean, I'm back in like 2016 now, and she is still blonde. So I just don't think she ever looked quite that basic, like that base model basic.
Well, I definitely want to see her base model pictures, but all right. Devin has spoken. Courtside Karen, we don't know what your base model looks like, but apparently this is not it. But that girl still looked like a child. Why are you at the ball game with the child, sir? I need answers. But speaking of Courtside Karen, she decided to issue this very fake apology that I guess we're just going to get into right now. She says, about last night, to say things escalated quickly at yesterday's game is an understatement. I want to apologize for losing my cool and removing my mask in the heat of the moment. My husband is a huge sports fan, and we're passionate people. And let's be real. Sports wouldn't be sports without a little trash talking. What should have been a quick back and forth between two adults got out of hand, and my natural instinct to stand up for the man I love kicked in. Did I get defensive when that happened? Yes. Did I use offensive language when I could have taken the higher road? Yes. And for these things, I take full responsibility. I agree with this next user that I don't think she wrote that. I don't know who wrote this, but somebody on her Instagram said, you did not write this. And I agree with that. I don't think she wrote that. And why apologize? I think, Britt, you're right. I think she's just perpetuating her 15 moments of fame. She just wants to stay in the conversation. This apology didn't say anything. She definitely didn't mean it. Do you think that was her intention, Britt, just to stay in the conversation a little longer?
she wins because we're talking about her again today.
Mm-hmm.
We are still talking about her. So she wins. You won, girl. You won, sis. You won. Congratulations. Enjoy.
So
Oh,
this
y'all
is
found it.
2017. This is 2017 Courtside Karen. The blonde.
So that's
See the blonde?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can definitely work. That's a lot of work. But I don't even think that's the base model. I think that's the, 0.2 model or something. That's not, I think she had some work in that picture. I don't know. Okay, well, it's good to know that the 15-year-old that dude was with at the game was not, oh, girl. But
yeah,
that child was.
Maybe it was his daughter. Does he have a daughter that's, maybe it's his daughter? Because I remember a girl that used to work on the Fumble. So she is really tall, blonde, like she looks like, a trophy girl. And she was at like a hockey game with her dad, and like Barstool and all these people were posting like, oh, look at this like hot girl with this old man. And she's like, oh my gosh, that is my dad. Like, and everybody was calling her like a sugar baby and all this stuff. She's like, that is my father. Leave me alone. And she like went super viral on social media because everybody thought this old guy, which her daddy, fine. I mean, I'll talk to her daddy. Just saying. Mm-hmm. But they thought this old guy was dating this like hot young blonde, but it was his daughter. So maybe that was his daughter. I don't know.
I'll look into it.
We're going to end up calling you Tristan Thompson in a minute. You just out here. Everybody's your boo. You got to stop this. You can't. Everybody cannot be your boo.
Hey, I need a couple old zaddies. My friend did a poll the other day, and she was like, who would you want to be your sugar daddy? And I'm like, let's see, Will Smith, Denzel.
Oh, my God. Look, I guess we're just going to be taking applications. So if you old and fine, y'all can DM Britt with your resume.
Or young and fine. Or medium aged and fine.
Include bank statements and your career path. So all of those are going to need to be included when you DM Britt. I'm just letting you know. All right, so let's get into this next one. I only have two boos in the league, two guys that I think are adorable. That's Kyle Lowry. I know y'all think I'm crazy for that. And, of course, Blake. Now, this next one, I had to take a moment because this, I know it's supposed to be like, ooh, he's mad, but I swear to God, this is like that Neo thing. You're so sexy when you mad. But they was getting they butt handed to them last night by Utah. They did not take the lead one time in that game. By the half, they were down 46-69. That is so embarrassing. And Blake was pissed, but how he expressed his anger, I'm here for it. Take a look at this.
I thought it was the new City Edition breakaway jersey, but no, he rips that thing to shreds.
That was going into halftime, and luckily they carry more than one jersey.
Not like the old days where if you mess.
That's a good moment for me. I'm just gonna bask in that for a moment, and now I'm gonna move on because I love that. Just do that whenever you want to, Blake. That's fine with me, but. Y'all gonna leave Russell Westbrook and his outfits alone. Y'all know that man has his own style. He embraces his own style. Y'all let him live, okay? I know this outfit is a little strange, but let him live. I actually am not mad at this outfit. No, this is the one. He's elevated to Bernie Sanders type level because y'all putting him in random locations now. This is him walking into the game. Somebody says Russ must be playing well again. Is that how that works? He dresses weird when he's playing well? I thought he just dressed weird all the time. But that was his outfit. Now y'all got him in video games. And then somebody put him in the middle of the desert. This must be a famous Western that I know nothing about because this one got a lot of comments like, oh, you put him in whatever this Western is. So I think he's now elevated to Bernie Sanders level where we're just going to be seeing him in random places. Y'all are strange. This next one, though, is dope. This is how it's supposed to go. Y'all leave Russ alone. Y'all supposed to be voting for him right now. Britt told y'all yesterday all-star voting was up. You don't even have to go in any place special and vote. You can just hashtag the NBA and hashtag the person you want and start voting that way. And Taylor Swift, y'all know her fan base is crazy. Now, I don't know if it's as big as a beehive, but it's up there. And she is telling all of her fans to go and vote for Russell Westbrook, which I think is so dope. And she's got fans from all over the world. This is a fan site. This first tweet is from an Indonesian Taylor Swift fan Twitter. And they said, okay, let's get Russ. It's kind of cute, though, because they're not from the U.S. So they say, hey, let's get Russ into the NBA. What they meant is the NBA All-Star game. And they say Russ is a professional basketball player and a huge Swiftie. You can reply and also tweets with hashtag Russell Westbrook, hashtag Russ All-Star, hashtag NBA All-Star. And I love this. She wants to get him into the NBA All-Stars. He's a shoo-in anyway without her. But she also did a video for him and showed him being a true Swiftie, as she calls it. I like this video. Check it out.
You are amazing. You're the MVP. I'm so happy for you. Sending you the biggest hug ever. Congratulations.
Yes, baby, now we got that. You know we used to be mad.
He posts videos like this all the time, though, if you follow him on Instagram. But he might not know the words, but he always has some sort of Taylor Swift, and he'd be like jamming out like he's listening to the hardest rap song ever. It's hilarious to me. He's definitely a Taylor Swift fan. So, I mean, he's going to get my vote regardless. Do you guys know who you're going to vote for? One person, not a whole squad, but first vote outside of LeBron, Devin. Of course, I'm voting for LeBron. Outside of LeBron, who are you voting for, Devin?
I haven't even thought about it at all. And to be honest, Jackie, I have been spending so much time looking into Daddy Carlos's children right now that I don't have anything to say at the moment.
I love you for that so much, Devin. She's like, I'm over here investigating. Britt, who are you voting for?
Duh. Kawhi and PG.
Okay, besides
PG and Kawhi. Ooh, child. Ooh, child. Ooh, child. I'm also, besides them two, I'm voting, because he is long overdue for an All-Star. Obviously, you guys know Dame, my favorite player, duh. Tobias Harris. Vote for him now. He's long overdue.
They're voting for Trey in the chat, LaMelo, Curry, Julius Randle. I'm with that. I'm with Giannis, LeBron. It should be LeBron, Giannis, but I'm with that too, Mamba. I feel you. Okay. Oladipo, yes.
Oladipo. Yeah. Okay.
Definitely with that.
Jimmy Buckets, y'all better be voting. He's back in action. He's playing again, so don't forget about Jimmy Buckets.
Yeah. All right. So I'm feeling. Y'all just make sure you vote. Don't forget to vote. So look, this is the weirdest clout chasing flex thing I've seen in a long time. But these two kids are at a game, and I don't know if you can see this video, so let me break this down. But she decides at the middle of the game that she wants to pull up an old Tyler Hero DMing her. So take a look at this video. Or maybe we don't have the video. We have the video. There it is. Okay. I don't know if you can see it because it's so quick, because I had to pause it and zoom in. He's like, what the hell? Why is she showing me this? The thing is that DM is just Tyler Hero saying, hey, with a smiley face. And it's from 2019. Why would she decide to... Devin, I need answers. What's the point in trying to do this flex? I'm trying to understand why she's doing this flex.
She was just trying to get TikTok views. She knew that she would get TikTok views if she made it seem like Tyler Hero was DMing her that day. So she posted the old messages from him, scanned to the game to show, like, look, I'm wearing a mask, it's empty, this is obviously present day. It was just all a ploy to get views and likes and clicks.
Well, as the person who only has 3 actual TikTok videos, I wouldn't have thought of that. I don't be tripping about TikTok like that. So okay, but it's so old, girl. You need to do better. You need to do better. Gamers out there, this is if you guys are gamers, you might love this. I'm not a gamer, but EA Sports is bringing back their college game. So the last time they actually had a college video game was back in 2013. But now Daryl Holt, he says EA Sports is going to make a return of the EA Sports College Football Edition. They announced it on their Twitter. But Joey Bosa feels some type of way about that. He is not, I mean, he likes it, but he says all he wanted to do was to be on the cover of this game. And as soon as he graduates, they bring it back. That is the worst luck. Poor Joey. I don't have a lot to say about that, poor Joey. I just feel so bad for you. But that's all I got for the post up. So now let's get into what we're not going to do, because this one's going to be short and sweet. But when I tell y'all this is this, hilarious to me. All right, so look, you guys need to know what your parents told you was right. Your mama told you you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and your dad or somebody probably told you if you don't make a plan, then you're planning to fail. All of those are true. You need to carry that into your adult life, and please don't forget that. I am all for, if you are giving a public speech, having notes, because especially handwriting your notes, because when you handwrite stuff, there's studies that prove that it helps you remember it. So you might not actually need the notes anyway, which will help you in a press conference, especially if people are asking you questions. You need to have some of that stuff committed to memory because you don't want to be fumbling through your notes and looking around like you don't know what you're talking about. So always have notes. We have notes here on the show so we can deliver what we need to say to you. Notes are great, but I saw two of the worst press conferences this past week that I have probably ever seen. I didn't see the Eagles press conference while it was live. I had to go back and watch that, but I did see the I don't know how I ended up on the Houston Texans live press conference with Nick Caserio. And he literally had his notes and was just like looking down. That man barely looked up. He looked like a like a freshman giving a book report, and he had stage fright. He never looked up one time. That did not give any confidence to me. He just looked very nervous. He looked very unsure of himself. And I just don't think that that's something that anybody who's in a leadership position should look like. So I was like, this is a terrible press conference. But then Tony Baker on Instagram, he's a comedian. If y'all ain't follow him, go follow him. He posted a clip of the Eagles press conference. Now, I did watch the entire thing. It's long. It's about an hour long, but it was horrible because Eagles' new head coach, Nick Sirianni, how you say his last name? Sirianni, Nick Sirianni. He took it. He was terrible, y'all. He did have notes. I salute him for that, but he did not answer any questions clearly. He was fumbling through it the whole time. When he gave his first speech, he sounded weird. And then when he was asked questions, he sounded worse. And we're talking about Philly, guys. This is a Philly fan base, which we talk about all the time. And I'm not saying all Philly fans, but they are kind of unforgiving. Again, not as a whole, but that is not the city of brotherly love like people think that it is. It's just not. And Philly has a big mess there anyway. Carson Wentz isn't happy. He's probably asking for a trade. What does that mean? What does that mean for Jalen Hurts? What are you going to do over there? They got a lot of defensive questions. You just need to look like a leader in this situation. And I just don't think that he did that. But let me get y'all opinion. I'm just going to show you a quick clip. Somebody asked him, one of the reporters asked him, so, hey, like, what are you going to do to change the culture here in Philly? What are you going to do moving forward? Because they did fire a lot of the staff, and he got a new staff. He didn't retain hardly anybody in Doug Peterson's era. So what are you going to do? So this is how he answers this question of how are you going to change the culture? What's going to be the new face, the new look for Philly? Look how he answers this question.
Next thing that's very important to me is that we build a smart football team, that we have a smart football team here. And I know we have the people in place to do that. The first part of being smart is knowing what to do. We're going to have systems in place that are easier to learn. All right, complicated to the defense or offense that they're going against, or the special teams group they're going against, but easy for us to learn. Because when we can when we can learn our system and we can get good at our system, then our talent can take over. Less thinking equals talent take over, but we need to have systems in place, and we will have systems in place to do so.
What? What? I don't. When I saw that, I had to watch that like 3-4 times. He sounded like that kid, that meme that goes around where the kid's like, what? There's so many questions I had after this. First of all, who's not smart? Are you trying to say that your players aren't smart? Is that what you're trying to say? You're trying to say that they're so unintelligent that you have to dumb it down for them? This is I'm so sorry for laughing, but this is what we're not going to do is pretend that this is not the worst presentation. You are the head coach. It is your job to present some sort of level of authority, some sort of, I understand what the hell I'm doing. I have a plan. This does not sound like you have a plan. And I get it. You know, maybe he's not good at public speaking. I get that. But what was so complicated about your plays last season, and because your speech sounded complicated. I didn't understand what you were saying. And the way that he stood up there does not seem like you are going to be able to deliver a season that's better than 4-11. This was horrible to me. I felt so bad for him. Well, not like bad, because I did laugh most of the time, and this was just a clip. That was like what, 30, 40 seconds. It was just a clip, but the whole, the whole press conference was like this. And it's like an hour long. I don't get it. It was a horrible introduction. I don't feel like you can command leadership. Like, people aren't just going to automatically respect you when you fumbling through your words like this, and you don't even know, like, okay, so what we're going to do is play smart. We're going to not make it complicated. It's going to be complicated for everybody else, but not complicated. What the hell are you talking about? This is the worst. I just don't know how, as if I'm a player and it's my job to really, you've got to inspire me. How are you going to inspire me? You can't even talk, my guy. I don't know. This was a horrible, horrible moment. That's all I have for what we not going to do. But guys, I skipped one of my favorite post-ups. This is my bad, because I think I skipped it because I don't like y'all coming for my baby goat. You know, he's my baby goat. He is always going to be my baby goat. But here we go. So a sports writer posted this about Luka, saying basically he is whining. So let's throw this up there. He says, so Zach Lowe says that Luka has become the biggest whiner, one of the biggest whiners in the NBA. Every time he drives, he is whining. He spent so much energy whining to the referees and slumping his shoulders to the teammates that it sucked the life of many teams many times. Stop. First of all, I've not seen Luka do a lot of whining. I've seen him check people when they need to be checked, and I've seen him call for fouls occasionally. Every single player does. But what I didn't like, see, this is what happens. When you talk about the baby goat, the conversation always really quickly gets to the real goat, and here they come. So this first person was like, I mean, seriously, though, say you grow up idolizing LeBron, are you supposed to be surprised that the next generation of players are going to whine constantly like him? Stop it right now. Stop it right now. LeBron James is not a whiner. He's big as hell, and people do be smacking him. And every time he mentions somebody smacking him, that is not whining. But I love this next user, because this next user was like, okay, well, let's bring this full circle, because who did LeBron look up to? He says, and where do you guys think LeBron got that? I don't know if you can tell that it's Jordan, but let me just go and show you an example of what this user is talking about. Take a look at this.
He has 14 to lead the Heat. Jordan lays it in. No basket, and Jordan can't believe it.
Basically, no. Everybody whines at some point. Y'all ain't gonna be out here talking about the baby goat like this. He's already embraced by the kingdom. Y'all gonna leave the baby goat alone. That's all I got. And no, LeBron, you're right, Mamba. LeBron is not a whiner. He is a winner. Using the word wrong. So let's move on from that. That's all I got for the post up and what we not gonna do. Let me get my girl Devin up here really quickly. No water bottle again. I still gotta get you that mic for Valentine's Day, don't I? Maybe I'll just get you a pretty. All right, but it is time for Brit's takes.
Brit's takes.
Alrighty, guys. We actually have a very quick Brits take for you guys today, because I have a question for you guys. I have done so many stories and videos on the Madden. We were talking about EA Sports and, you know, that them kicking back up that NCAA football. Everybody's excited about that. All I heard in the last day was everybody talking about that. But Madden is very huge. Everybody plays Madden, who plays, you know, video games, whatever. Every athlete for a long time was really excited to be the Madden cover athlete, until there became a trend with Madden, and whoever was the cover athlete tended to have a terrible season. They would get injured. They would, after that year, have something terrible happen, never play in the league again. So Madden had a really bad reputation for whoever the cover athlete was would suffer from the Madden curse. But have the tables turned? Is there a change coming? Is something different now? Because this was actually posted on social media, and it basically says all the cover athletes from Madden 2017 to 2020, which you see Gronk, Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, and Patrick Mahomes. What do all those guys have in common? They are playing in this Super Bowl 55 this year. Obviously, in 2019, when he was the cover person, had a bad year. Gronk, same 2017, had a bad season. Like, they had bad seasons going into those particular years. Obviously, we know every crazy thing that happened with Antonio Brown after the year following after he was the cover athlete, from, leaving the Steelers to going to the Raiders, to then leaving the Raiders, going to the Patriots, to then not even playing in the league. But now all four of these guys, Gronk, same thing. We thought Gronk was done. We thought his career was over. No, he's back and he's playing in a Super Bowl. Like Patrick Mahomes, that year, we remember Patrick Mahomes suffered that terrible injury, was out for weeks and weeks, and then end up finding out still makes it to the playoffs and wins the Super Bowl. So everybody, I have a question. This is a very important question. Did the Madden curse change into the Madden blessing? Because I have never in all my years of talking about the Madden covers and the athletes that, grace the covers, have I seen 4 years worth of Madden covers now all playing against or with each other, 3 of them on one team, and then obviously Patrick Mahomes on the other team, in a Super Bowl. Like, this is insane. Like, are the tables turning, or is this just a one-off? Like, Hugh said Pat broke the Madden curse. I wouldn't necessarily say that, because we had sprinkles of years where players, did not have the Madden curse hit them. But as far as I can remember, there have been so many cases. I remember when Odell was on the Madden cover. Like, where's Odell? Where is Odell? We miss you.
Right.
Madden curse. Okay? Like, all of these players that have been on this Madden cover have at some point suffered during their career, but a lot of them actually have had decent careers or decent season the year they were on the Madden cover. But is this a sign that, patience is a virtue? Because obviously Antonio Brown had a terrible year when he was on the Madden cover, but now we flash back to 2 years later and he is playing in a Super Bowl. So I don't know if you ladies know much about the Madden covers and the curse that follows it, but would you say that seeing the last 4 covers come to this moment now, all playing in this Super Bowl, is the Madden curse something of the past? Is it now the Madden blessing?
I wouldn't risk it. If it was me, I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, but I'm going to err on the side of caution. And I'm like, can I get that cover in my retirement year when, I have nothing to lose?
Right.
That cover then. I mean, I very valid points, but I wouldn't risk it.
I mean, there are always exceptions to a curse. Maybe this is an exception, but like the Drake curse, there are a few exceptions there, but in general, once Drake, the Kardashian curse, exactly. So I feel like we can't say that it is a Madden blessing quite yet. I think it has to be a few more years, a few more covers for us to really be able to say that it actually is a blessing now. I definitely am the type of person to believe in a curse, so I'm just gonna respect that it is still a curse and hope that it changes.
Well, Mamba Machine is in the comments and said the answer is simple, y'all. This so-called Madden curse is all in our heads. We're just manifesting it and making it a bigger thing than it is. It's just a coincidence. This is all in our heads, y'all. I disagree. I don't think it is just a coincidence that more times than not, if a player is on the Madden cover, which to be on the cover, you have to be one of the top players in the league and have a successful season before that, and to have time and time again, these players have season-ending injuries, having career-ending injuries. I don't think that's a coincidence at all. At all.
I don't know. I kind of Machine, because when I was playing, we had this dumbass thing where we all had to go out when we ran out onto the court. We had to run out in a certain order. So even if like somebody was hurt, you better limp out with us in this certain order, because there was every time we went out in a different order, we lost. And so now we just manifested this in our head like, oh, damn, Janaea was standing. Oh, my God, Jackie was, oh, my God, what are we going to do? Now the whole game, we have this thing in our head like we came out in the wrong order. We done cursed ourselves. We done jinxed ourselves. It's a walk out, y'all. It's a run out. It really shouldn't mean anything, but we had it so ingrained in our head that I'm telling you, every time we ran out wrong, we freaking lost. So.
That's smart. I think that half the battle with sports is the superstition part. We always talk about, the superstitions in sports, and like they do commercials about it, and they're like showing all these crazy things that fans do. And really, it's only crazy if it doesn't work. But if you have it in your head that, no, I need this to whatever. And I go to Space Jam because obviously one of the greatest sports movies ever, but, drinking Michael Jordan's special magic juice, drinking it when really was actually just water. It gave everybody this boost up to be like, oh my gosh, I'm great. So maybe we should start just calling it the Madden blessing, because maybe it would help these players not be so afraid and have successful careers the year that they become on the Madden cover. So I agree with you in that it is something we're manifesting. So let's manifest it as a blessing. And let's put the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, on the cover of next year's Madden, because we are manifesting this as a blessing. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for letting the Dallas Cowboys win Super Bowl 56 next year. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Okay, we can wrap the show now.
Okay, I have one thing to say.
Don't put my name on that. Do not put my name on that.
I have one thing to say. American Warrior wrote in and said, Devin, if you feel you're cursed, get an egg and roll it on your head. It takes the spirits out. So for anyone who feels like they might be cursed, that is what you can do. I do want to clarify, I don't believe I'm cursed. I am a very lucky and fortunate woman. Good things come to me at all times, and so I don't think I'm cursed at all. But I'm just saying, if somebody is cursed, or if, I will respect if a curse exists. That's what I was saying. But if you do want to get rid of it, roll an egg on your head.
Yeah, it.
Yeah, you don't look like a fool walking around rubbing a damn egg on your head. Maybe just throw some stuff over your shoulder so you don't look crazy. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out.
Yes. So, okay. Since we have a couple minutes, and while we're on the subject of superstitions, what are some wild ones that you guys have heard of or that you believe in? Is there anything in particular, Britt?
Okay, so for sports ones personally that I have actually done, a couple years ago, I noticed midway through the season, every time I went to sleep in this particular Dallas Cowboys shirt that actually my ex-boyfriend owned, but I stole it from him because I love stealing guys' shirts to sleep in, right? Best thing ever. And then I keep their shirts and then kick them to the curb. And I noticed every time the Cowboys won that year, at that point, I had worn that shirt to bed the night before. So for the remainder of the season, I started realizing that. And every time I wore that shirt the night before, the Cowboys won the game. They went on this like freaking 8-game win streak or whatever after that. And I believe it is my energy and my shirt wearing the night before that made the Cowboys win. And I am very big with my, I'll do that with shoes, with whatever. If I go to a game or wearing something that season and my team loses, I never wear that for the rest of the season. I won't wear it on game day for the rest of the season. But I also believe that the playoff is the switch up. Playoffs, you have to have a new set of rituals and a new set of rules, because obviously that season I tried to wear it before the playoff game. It doesn't work. It's different. Playoffs are new rules. It changes the whole game. But I am very particular in the things that I wear either the night before or the day of a game. I don't know. It's weird. I believe that I just bring that energy from my teams. Cowboys, everybody, Clippers, whoever.
All right. Good advice then for anybody who's worried about cursing their team. Jackie, what about you? Any wild superstitions that you believe in?
Not currently, but when I was on the, I was on the semi-pro bowling tour for a long time, for years actually. And the biggest payout that I ever had, I bowled a 297 for my final game. That whole day, though, I was on fire. Not one game was under 250, and it was a 12-game qualifier. And I was so self-conscious when I got there because I realized that I had on mismatched socks because I had rushed out the house too early. So my socks were mismatched. So then every tournament after that, I wore I was mismatched socks, and I was proud of it. I didn't care. You're just going to see these two different colored socks. One that literally had patterns on it. One was just black. And I wore that in every single tournament. And I also had this conditioning bag. So I would hold that like when it wasn't my turn to bowl, just keep your hand dry. But it was a specific kind. I had it made. It had designs on it or whatever. And somehow I had two different bowling ball bags. It's a whole story. But anyway, so I had brought the wrong bag and I left the conditioning bag in the other bag. And I'm like, I don't know, a 30-minute drive in Denver, which is a big deal. And I called my dad. I was like, Dad, you got to come. Like my conditioning bag. He was like, I'm not driving 30 minutes. I'm like, I'm not going to bowl. If you're not coming, I'm not going to bowl. I'm not going to bowl with that bag. He's like, are you freaking kidding me? He's like, there's a pro shop in buy a new conditioning bag. Dad, I'm not bowling. He was like, and my dad does not cuss, but when I tell you, I know in my heart of hearts, he cussed that whole 30-minute drive, but he brought me the conditioning bag and he stayed with me. And I won that tournament. And then he was like, you just got to keep this conditioning bag with you all the time. This is ridiculous. And then he fussed all the way home too. But I was like, no, I'm not bowling without it. You're not messing me up. I got my mismatched socks. I need my conditioning bag.
Yeah. I used to have a sweatband that I wore in track too. The funniest one I will say from an actual athlete we covered this last summer was George Hill, who said that he did not go out there for the national anthem with his team, and everybody thought that it was is he protesting? What is he doing? Well, no, he was still taking a crap, and he said that he takes a crap. He has to take his crap before every single game. I know a ton of football players who actually say the day before their game, they take like a laxative and crap the whole day in their hotel rooms. And then so the day of the game, they feel light and they don't have to go to the restroom like that. And they have like certain things that they'll eat that day to make sure they don't have to go to the restroom. But taking a crap is a huge thing that I know that is with athletes. They have to have their certain time where they take their crap. James Harden probably needs to work on his.
Yeah.
Hey,
James,
do it. We're not going back. Nope. No, we're not doing it.
I just honestly feel like I could do without knowing the bowel movement habits of athletes. Like do what you got to do, but I wish I did not hear about that. I don't like knowing that they're pooping everything out for 24 hours before a game. And on that note, you guys, great way to end the show. Let's do it. Subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. We will be back again at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, so tune in, wash your hands, and wear a mask. We'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.
Nike needs a just do it with a poop emoji.
Stop it right
now.
Stop it right now.